everybody, it's time for the next chapter of Ms. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH by Robert C. O'Brien. This chapter is called A Favor from Jeremy. In the last chapter, Ms. Frisby noticed the rats moving a piece of wire laboriously. In her worry about moving day, and in watching the tractor, the cat, and then finally the rats, Miss Frisby had forgotten that she had said originally to send for some corn for supper. And as she remembered it, instead of continuing to her home, she turned around to the far corner of the garden, to the stump at the edge of the woods, and started moving. She was a little tired after her dash from the cat, so she walked along slowly, feeling the warmth of the sun and the smell of the breeze. This mild breeze, carrying the moist essence of early spring, caused a dead leaf to flutter here and there and across the garden near the fence. It moved. Something moved that sparkled in the sunlight. This caught the corner of Miss Frisby's eye, and she glanced at it, saw it only for a bit of a second, noticed that it was tinfoil, and then moved on her merry way. But then when she looked again, she saw there was a black object that plummeted from the sky. She immediately recognized it as Jeremy the Crow. Another thought crossed Miss Frisby's mind. She changed direction again, and moving more quickly this time, ran across to where Jeremy had landed. He was hopping around the shiny piece of foil, eyeing it from one direction and then another. What had occurred to Miss Frisby was that although Jeremy was not the brightest animal she had met, though he was young, he knew things in places she did not, and one had to begin somewhere. So as she approached him, he had picked up the foil in his beak and was spreading his wings and ready to fly. "Wait, wait!" she called out. He turned, folded his wings, and then replaced the foil carefully on the ground. "Hello," he said. Do you remember me?" Miss Frisby asked. "Of course I do. You saved me from the cat. You're the field mouse." And then he added, "What do you think of this piece of foil? It's very shiny, isn't it?" Miss Frisby looked at it without much interest. It's just a piece of foil. It's not very big." "Oh, that's true, but it's shiny. Oh, it's so shiny, especially when you move it into the sun, just like so." "Why are you so interested in shiny things?" "Oh, well, it's not me, really. I am a little, not very, though. I have a friend, though. She really likes them. And when I find one, I just pick it up." "I see. That's very thoughtful of you. So this friend is a female." "As a matter of fact, she is. How did you know?" Miss Frisby laughed to herself. "It was just a guess." "Do you remember once saying that if I ever needed help, you might help me, Jeremy?" "Oh, I do. Any time. I'd be happy to help you. Just ask for Jeremy. Any of the crows can find me. And now, if you'll excuse me, I've really got to be going." He bent over to pick up the foil again and spread his wings. "Oh, wait, please don't go yet," said Miss Frisby. "I think perhaps you could help me now." "I'd love to help you now," said Jeremy. "What kind of help do you need? Are you hungry? I'll bring you some seeds from the barn loft. I know where they're stored." No, we have enough to eat." And at this point, Miss Frisby told Jeremy, as briefly as she could, about Timothy, his sickness, the problems of moving day. Jeremy knew all about moving day, though crows do not have to move, but they keep a close eye on such activities as plowing and planting as to get their fair share of the seeds. And with their sharp eyes, they often see the small animals leaving before the plow comes. So he clucked sympathetically when he heard Miss Frisby's story, cocked his head to one side, and thought for as hard as he could, as long as he could, which was about 7 seconds. His eyes closed with great effort as he thought. I don't know what you should do," he finally said. "I'm sorry, but maybe I can't even help. So at least I can tell you what we can do when we don't know what to do." "What, we? Yeah, me, crows. Well, most of the birds. We all go and do the same thing. We ask somebody. We go and ask the owl." "The owl?" "Yes, over that way." Jeremy nodded in the direction of the deep woods, the direction of the faraway mountains that rose beyond the fence. "About a mile from here, there grows a very large beech tree, and the biggest tree in the whole forest. Near the top of the tree, there's a hollow in the trunk, and in the hollow there lives an owl. It's the oldest animal in the whole forest. Some say it's the oldest animal in the whole world. When we don't know what to do, we go ask him. Sometimes he answers our questions, sometimes he doesn't. If you're a small animal, sometimes he just decides to eat you up. It depends on how he feels. My father used to say that it depends what kind of humor he's in." Or possibly, Miss Frisby thought to herself, on whether or not he knows the answer and had had a meal the day before. "Could you ask him then, if he knows anything that might help me?" She didn't think that it would be likely that he would, but there's no harm in asking. "No," said Jeremy. "No, that won't do. I could ask him, but I don't think the owl would listen to me, especially give me an answer. Imagine a crow come to ask for help for a lady mouse with a sick child. He wouldn't believe me." Then what's to be done?" said Miss Frisby. "What's to be done? You must go do it yourself. You have to go ask him. They're your own." But I can't go. I can't. He's an owl and will eat me. Along with that, I can't find the tree. Even if I did, I don't think I could climb so high. Well, that's why I can help. As I said I would, I'll carry you there on my back, just as the way I did before. We'll get there and we'll get back here. It'll be very quick. Miss Frisby hesitated. It was one thing to leap on the back of a crow when the cat was only 3 jumps away and coming quickly, but it was an entirely different thing to do it deliberately. To fly deep into the dark, unknown forest, especially to go visit an owl. In short, Miss Frisby was afraid. And then she thought of Timothy, of the big steel plow blade, and she told herself that she had no real choice. If there was any chance that the owl might be able to help, she had to go. Thank you, Jeremy. I will go and talk to the owl. Will you take me? This will be the favor that you owe me. Oh, it'll be nothing, said Jeremy. You're welcome, but we have to go now. Now? Oh, yes, we have to go now. In the daytime, when it's sun out, the owl goes into the deep hollow and he sleeps. That is, they say that he sleeps, but I don't believe it. How could anyone sleep that long? I think he just sits there, part of the time at least. I think he just sits there and thinks. That's why he knows so much. But anyway, he won't speak to you in the daytime, not to anyone. At night, he's out flying and hunting. I know, said Miss Frisby. That was another reason she was afraid. So the time to see him is just at dusk. That's when he awakes, but before he goes out. Then, when he gets the light dim, he comes to the entrance of the hollow and watches while the dark comes in. That's the time to ask the owl the questions. I understand, said Miss Frisby. Shall we go this evening? At 5 o'clock, Jeremy said. I'll be at your house. He picked up a piece of foil in his bill, waved goodbye, and flew off. We'll check up on the next chapter called The Owl tomorrow.